Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to my kitchen. So let's get started. Today I'm cooking up a subscriber recipe request, Taiwanese style beef noodle soup. So let's review the ingredients. I have a boneless beef shanks, tons of garlic, ginger, Thai chili peppers, green onions, carrots, apple, yellow onion, shallot, tomatoes. And here I have a variety of different spices. There's rock sugar, bay leaf, dried orange peel, star anise, Sichuan peppercorn, cinnamon stick, cloves, and fennel and cumin seeds. And we also have the homemade chicken and pork stock, both light and dark soy, Shaoxing wine, sesame oil, seasoning salt mix, and we have the chili broad bean paste. And I'm using the Shan brand, and this comes in a package. I just put it into a jar for easier storage and use. For the prep, we're going to start off with the beef shanks. We'll cut them into about 1.5 inch slices. And you don't want to cut them too small because they will contract when it's cooking. And as you can see, when you cut the beef shank open, there's some tendons in between, and this holds up very well when cooking. And it has a really nice flavor. Okay, so that's done. Let me wash up and we can continue with the rest of the prep. So next up, let's cut up the vegetables. We'll cut the carrot in half and just into chunks. Same with the onion. We'll cut it into big chunks. And the shallot. And the apples, we're just going to cut and core them. And they're going to add a really nice natural sweetness to the braising liquid and stock. And we'll leave them in half like this. So for the tomatoes, we're just going to cut it into big chunks. And the tomato is going to add an additional depth of flavor to the braising liquid and soup. And for the green onions, all I'm going to do is just give it a quick smash, and this will help release the flavor. Okay, that's good. And the garlic has already been crushed. So we'll slice the ginger into about 1/4 inch slices. And you can leave the peel on. And the chili peppers we'll leave whole. Now for the spices, you can either choose to just put all this into the pot. I like to use a tea sack, and this is normally used for loose leaf tea. And this is a great way to remove all the spices once the braising is done. So I'm putting in the bay leaves, cinnamon, and the orange peel. And I'm going to put it into 2 packs. And you can also use a coffee filter and tie it up with a string. And if you don't have all these spices on hand in the cupboard, you could get already pre-packed spice packets at the Asian market. So once you have them in the packets, I get a little kitchen twine. I like to just give it a quick tie so it doesn't come loose. So now all the prep is done. Let's start cooking. Okay, I have my braising pot here set at medium-high heat. And the first thing we're going to do is sear off the beef shanks. And that's going to give them a nice color and a bit of caramelization. And let it sear for about a minute or two on each side. And I also like to just sprinkle a little bit of seasoning salt on top. This will help it to caramelize. And that looks really good. Add a bit of seasoning salt on the side. Okay, let's check it. That looks good on the other side. Let's remove it from the pot. We can brown the second batch. Add just a little bit more oil. And we'll do the same with this batch. Add a bit of the seasoning salt. Just flip it over. Give it a minute sear on the other side. Okay, so let's check the other side. So let's remove it from the pan. Add the onions, shallots, ginger, and garlic. And stir this around for about 30 seconds. Okay, so now we're going to add the broad bean paste. Give this a good stir. And if you like it a little spicier, you can also add more of the bean paste. And what we're doing here is building layers of flavor. Add the tomatoes. Add a bit of sesame oil. A bit of the seasoning salt. Add the carrots. And the chili peppers. The green onions. Give it a little twist. Now we'll add the stock. Stir this around and you scrape all that seasoning that was at the bottom of the pan. Now we'll add the apples. And we'll add all the seasonings. The wine, dark soy, regular soy, a bit of the sesame oil. Give this a good stir. Return the beef to the pot. And all the juices here. Add a little extra water. Add the spice packets and the rock sugar. So now I've turned the heat up to high. We're going to let this come up to a boil. And this is going to be packed with so much flavor. It's going to be amazing. Okay, as you can see now, the braising liquid and stock is coming up to a boil. We'll turn it down to medium. and we'll skim off the foam. Skim off as much as possible. So now we can just give it a quick taste to adjust the seasonings if we need to add more soy sauce or wine. That's pretty good. So now we're going to turn the heat down to low, cover it, and let it slow simmer for 3 hours. And we'll be back to check on it. Okay, 3 hours has elapsed. Let's check on the beef. Ooh, that looks really good. And this is so tender. Okay, so what we're going to do next here, let's turn off the flame. I'm going to remove the spice packet. Save the broth there. Onion, carrot is just floating on top. So we'll remove that. It'll be easier to get at the beef shank. And it smells so good. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so next I'm gonna just put the stock aside, and I have another pot here with a strainer above it. And next I'm gonna strain the broth into another pot. We'll strain the rest of it in. Check and see if there's any little bits of beef. And there is absolutely a lot of flavor here. Let's press as much out as possible. Have a little extra from earlier. We'll remove this. And we can also take a minute to remove the fat. We'll remove a bit of the oil from the top. And this looks great. And we'll return the beef. And you can see the beef is just, you can just tear it off. It's very tender. You can just break it in little pieces here. You also use a pair of kitchen shears, but it just breaks off pretty naturally. Okay, so now all the beef is in somewhat bite-sized pieces. Okay, so I'm gonna move this to a back burner. Keep it warm at a low setting. Next up, let's cook the noodles for the soup. I'm using wide-cut egg noodles, and this is a single portion size. And you could use any type of noodles you like. I'm using the Lan Chow home-style raw men. Okay, so we'll bring a pot of water up to a boil. Okay, so we'll add the noodles, and these only need to be cooked for 3 minutes. And whatever noodle you decide to use, cook it according to the instructions on the bag. Okay, 3 minutes is up. Let's strain the noodles. And I'm putting this directly into my serving bowl. I'm gonna add some vegetables, and this is a baby Shanghai bok choy. And you can use any vegetables you like: spinach, regular bok choy, cabbage. And let this cook for about 30 seconds. Once the water comes back up to a boil, it should be done. We're just blanching it. Half the water. Let's remove the veggies. Okay, so all that's need to be done is putting this soup noodle together. I'll add the vegetables on the side here. This is so delicious. Add your soup stock. And I like to add a little bit garnish. Add some onion and cilantro. I also like to add some crisp cowpeas. And cowpeas are pickled long beans. And this is going to add a nice crunch to the dish. And here we have a delicious bowl of Taiwanese style beef noodle soup. The beef shanks become super tender with the savory and aromatic flavor from all the spices. The crunchy texture of the pickled cowpeas is a nice balance to the richness of the braised beef. Enjoy! And what you can also do with the beef, since you're going through this process of braising and stewing, you can cook extra and store it into these plastic to-go containers. But when you fill it up, make sure to leave about 1 inch below the top, because once you freeze it, the liquid expands. And just take it out the freezer the night before, and you can have beef noodle soup anytime you like. It's a great time saver. And if you have extra soup, don't toss it. Strain it and put it into a soup container also and freeze it. And you can use it again next time and just add more seasoning, a little more stock, and it's going to taste great every single time. And it's what you call a master sauce. And I have a master sauce in my freezer that I've been adding on to for actually quite a few years. So it's absolutely delicious and it's a time saver. Enjoy! Okay, let's see if Shallot likes it. Ooh, yummy. She loves braised beef shanks. Thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, eat well and be healthy. Good girl.